seinen zweiten PDC-Sieg auf der Pro Tour feiern konnte. Die Rede ist von The Maximum, Josh Payne.
Here comes the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. No, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone press will hear the fat lady sing. Act like you know, Rico. I know what both you know. Touch them up and go. Oh, ching. Here comes the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me.
Josh Payne muss in dieser zweiten Runde gegen die Nummer 16 der Welt antreten. Er hat im vergangenen Jahr seine ersten beiden Pro-Tour-Siege auf dem PDC-Circuit einfahren können. Stand in diesem Jahr im Viertelfinale des Worlds Matchplay. Und er ist einer, der es mag, vor einer großen Kulisse zu spielen, denn er ist der Rockstar Joe Cullen.
Well, so far so good this Saturday afternoon in Hildesheim. Superb stuff throughout. A 6-5 win for Ron Muhlenkamp in a brilliant match against Stephen Bunting. Earlier on this afternoon, Dave Chisnell broke the European Tour record for the highest average, 118.66 for Chizzy, and sandwiched in between Jan Dekker defeated an injured Gerwyn Price. Joe Cullen has been one of the most consistent players on the Euro Tour in 2018. Hasn't picked up a title as yet. Josh Payne has won a Pro Tour title this year, doubling his career tally, and he's never lost a match against Joe Cullen. However, he never won one against Andy Bolton before yesterday, so what does that tell us? Who knows? I'm Chris Murphy, and Rob Malarkey joins me to talk you through it.
Yeah, you feel with Joe Cullen, he's knocking on the door, isn't he, as far as a first European Tour title is concerned. 5 quarters and a semi-final so far in 2018. And of course he's playing his first competitive darts this weekend since that 1917 defeat by Gary Anderson.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, Joe to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, we've been seeing the rise of Joe Cullen on the European Tour, especially this year. Won a couple of floor titles last year, but it seemed to be something of a coming-of-age tournament.
Yeah,
the match play for Joe.
Yeah, that was a nice way of putting it, really. I think it was a significant step for him. That's
86.
Quarter-final of the World Match Play against Anderson in July.
2 convincing wins against higher-ranked players in Darrell Gurney and Gerwyn Price. And then that kind of glorious defeat against Anderson, which catapulted Joe into the world's top 16 for the first time.
Yeah, only his second TV quarter-final, that as well.
60.
But as you say, 16th now on the Order of Merit. He's sitting pretty in 11th on the Pro Tour Order of Merit as well.
93.
Of course, he missed 2 match darts against Gary Anderson at double 18 and double 9. Flygate, if you will. Anderson missed 38 darts at double in that match. It was astonishing. Most of them at tops and double 10 as well. That 170 checkout Cullen as well for a 10-9 lead. Did it twice in Blackpool.
An absolute classic.
98.
Memorable match at the match play. Cullen's produced some fantastic performances on the European Tour stage. Not only this year in reaching latter stages regularly, but before that, I remember a match against Barneveld was incredible. Double 8.
76.
Well, Bunting had a 167 in the last match. 164 is not going to go.
100. Joe, you require 16.
Has to tread carefully here, Joe Cullen.
Joshua requires 64.
3 darts at double eights, all squandered. Payne compounds on 64.
It will be a worry for Joe Cullen.
48.
Seemed to be
Joe requires 16.
there, didn't he, with the gradual incline, but Cullen is back in the hunt once again for double eights. 4 missed darts.
Yeah, on the
but
first leg. Joe
with the
Cullen.
fifth,
Second leg is Josh to throw first.
he
Game
finds
on.
a way through.
Yeah, got away with that a little bit.
125.
Well, big average for Dave Chisnell, the biggest of the lot ever in the European Tour. Joe Cullen, let's not forget, has
140.
posted some biggies on the European Tour as well. Do you recall an average of 107 by Joe Cullen on the
171.
European stage not too long ago.
The
97.
2 wins that Josh Payne has against Cullen, their only 2 meetings, were both in qualifiers for European Tour events, and were in 2015 and 2016. And I know that Josh Payne was well aware of that record
135.
and reminded Joe of it yesterday, but Joe said, well, they weren't on the stage, it's a different game. And Cullen has kind of admitted himself that last year he was a floor player, but he seems to have
170.
transformed into a stage player this year. Double eights.
Game on the second
Level
leg.
up.
Josh Payne.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he's been doing well on TV or on the floor, which I suppose is the polar opposite to what he was doing last year.
180.
Just the 2 quarterfinals on the Pro Tour this year for Joe Cullen, and with 2 PDC ranking titles
140.
to his name, having made 3 previous ranking finals as well.
The first maximum
93.
of this match. Ron Muhlenkamp in the last match has hit 3 at this stage, went on to hit 6.
140.
Winner of this one will take on Jan Dekker,
140.
who defeated Gerwin Price in a miserable afternoon for Welsh darts players. Mark Webster have been on the end of an
93.
onslaught by
Joe
Dave
requires
Chisnell.
88.
Bullseye then.
63. Joshua Aguirre, 128.
Well, this would be another steal for Josh Payne.
$56. Joe Aguirre, 25. Games on the third leg. Joe Cullen.
I think I may have
Well,
done
it's
Joe
just
a bit of a
the throw
disservice
first.
earlier.
Game
I
on.
talked about his averages on the European Tour. I talked about one where he put in an average of 107. He actually produced an average of 113.7 in a win over
100.
Richie Corner at the International Open in Riesa last year. And there was another big one as well, of 111 or so, against Stuart Kellys in Austria 5 years ago.
93.
I think his highest major TV average is 101. So far, that's the state of play as far as the averages are concerned. The first 9 is healthier for Joe. It's been dragged down a little
100.
bit, but all in all, he'll be fairly satisfied with where he is right now in this match.
Yeah, with those first darts at double.
58.
Dragged it down. They didn't matter in the end.
$59.
He often says when he does post a big average, certainly when I've heard him being interviewed post-match in these European Tour events, he often reflects and seems always surprised that he has posted such a big average.
Well, he's given a reputation across social media that he didn't really agree with, that he often
83.
followed a very good performance with a very bad one. So I'm taking a few tweeters to task,
93.
shall we say. Well, he's certainly going to have his eyes on the prize
62.
for the remainder of 2018, Joe Cullen, a man who feels he should have been given opportunities in things like the World Series.
140.
Making his
Just
case
over
at the moment.
97.
Yeah, you feel, just given his profile as well, he can't be too far away from maybe a Premier League
Yeah,
place
on the
next
ball
year
there,
as well, or
Josh
certainly
Payne.
in a couple of years' time if he
Delegate Joe to
maintains
throw
this
first. Game on.
upward trajectory that he's on.
That was clinical stuff from Josh Payne, 97 out in 2.
96.
And many will fancy Josh Payne to be a future candidate. Having picked up a couple of titles already. Need to see him produce the goods
55.
on the stage.
Talks about Joe's record in Europe this year, and as you said as well, he had a
100.
strong sequence of results last year as well. He's made at least the last 8 in 7 successive European Tour events spanning the end of 2017 and the start, and certainly well into 2018 as well. There was a semi-final in Riesa last year, a quarter-final at Göttingen as well, just to round things off.
Yeah, the semi that he had in Austria this year, he felt was the one that got away.
Yeah, he was bitterly, well, I'd use the word upset actually. He was very, very disappointed that he didn't get through. He lost to Gerwyn Price 7-6 in the semi-finals there.
60.
There was a horror of the last leg.
125.
180. Not to be followed by the 125.
93.
Sets the shot up expertly.
Yeah, that sequence of good performances in Europe was ended in Zwolle. Anyway, Cullen looking at double 16, and on we go.
Just the throw first. Game on.
Developing into a good battle between these two. Plenty to admire about Josh Payne's credentials as well. Andy Bolton beaten yesterday.
140.
Significant win given the way that Andy Bolton played in Hamburg last time out, making the semi-finals there. Josh Payne averaging a 91.3, fairly good in his doubles as well, just under 50%. And one of these players on the fringes of the top 32 and the Pro Tour Order of Merit as well. So this is a big deal for him right now, the 24-year-old from Gravesend.
97.
Former World Youth Championship finalist as well last year. And a recent champion on the Pro Tour, as he said.
Beat Peter Wright in the final. That day in Milton Keynes.
121.
Jan Dekker awaits the winner of this one, the man who came through his match earlier against Gerwyn Price. It's one of 2 seeded players to fall by the wayside today. We're doing the old hello upstairs, hello downstairs song at the moment, if you're wondering what that's going on. There is an upper tier here at Halle 39, just to give you some insight into how the layout is. You can see the floor goes on for miles over the players' shoulders, but there's an area of seating all around the auditorium as well.
There might be 2 upstairs for Josh Payne here. Decided to stay for treble 20 and then missed the segment completely with the last dart. And that's cost him.
60.
A double.
60.
Should have had 3 clear here. Would that be a help or a hindrance?
Well,
20.
I would suggest on that evidence that it was the latter, and maybe that extra dart at double was costly there, especially if Cullen can hoover up on double 18. He does like that neck of the woods as well, does Joe Cullen. He's prolific, or he had a prolific record on double 4 at one stage. At one stage, he was the most productive player on double 4 in the world. So he does like that northeast corner.
He split shots to leave that double 4, weren't he, as well, rather than going for, say, double 9.
57.
2,800 sellout here today for this session and for tonight's session as well, which starts at 7:15. It's a terrific venue. It's good in the acoustics. The noise just seems to reverberate around off a very low ceiling as well. It's effectively an old aircraft hangar, this place.
And I think it has actually
91.
helped the standard rise. Of course, the seeded players are in the tournament, so the standard on a Saturday is usually higher than that of Friday, but we had a couple of unseeded players win.
89.
And it could be very, very lively later on as well when Martin Schindler gets involved.
140.
The sole surviving host nation qualifier up against Steve Beaton.
The wall will be greeted by a wall of noise.
Water off the duck's back there for the bronzed Adonis. He's been there, seen it all before. Former world champion.
129.
Well, Joe's just suddenly taken control. He had the break and now he's in the ascendancy on his throw as well, although that will just enhance Josh Payne's prospects of getting back on terms with the break back once again. Bullseye.
59. Joshua required 96.
Well, getting to that kind of stage where shots like this may have to go. First part done. The tricky switch, as we call it.
78. Joe required 25.
Just looking a little bit disconsolate there, Josh Payne. I think he realises now the game could be up, although Joe Cullen did struggle on double eight earlier, but no problem there whatsoever for Rockstar.
Yeah, put those woes behind him, and he might be leaving Josh Payne in his wake here. Just one away
97
from a place in the final day of action yet again, Joe Cullen, on the 2018 European Tour.
Yeah, he's got that down to a T, that art of making it to the final day on the Euro Tour. Just such a consistent performer in this sort of environment.
140.
He'll fancy his chances in that segment of the draw. The second highest seed in it. The highest is Daryl Gurney, who's up next against Darren Johnson. That would be his quarter-final opponent.
Yeah, he'll
one
be
of those two, or Mervyn King or Adrian Lewis.
If he does get through, I think he'll be wary of the pitfalls, because it looked to be opening for him in Gibraltar as well, when he was undone by Paul Nicholson in the third round. Well, 6-5 the score in that one. I thought that was perhaps going to be a good weekend for Joe. So he'll be wary of, counting his chickens.
I think he'd fancy another clash with Lewis, wouldn't he? Because he was a bit upset in Copenhagen after losing out to Jack
94. Joe Uruguay.
Has a horrible record against a two-time world champion. But would have to get past Jan Dekker first, and still has to see off Josh Payne here.
70.
Yeah, not a done deal this, if Payne can get one on the board now and reduce the gap to 5-3.
Yeah,
that's exactly where we are.
Josh Payne. I think it's Joe to throw first. Game on.
Right, it's a simple equation now for Josh Payne. He has to break throw here. And he may well get some encouragement from
57.
Joe Cullen. 57 on his first visit.
Can he capitalise? Another one.
140.
Snatching the darts immediately.
$43. $97.
Yeah, that 43 was music to the ears of Josh Payne there. And there's just a little gap opening up here, although
96.
had Joe Cullen found another treble there, he might just have got himself back on terms. As it is, you could argue here that Josh Payne is a slight favourite to win this leg.
Well, yeah, Cullen has the insurance policy of
58.
knowing he will throw for the match again. He'd like to do it with as little fuss as possible.
I would suspect so. But this is where it matters for Josh Payne. He can't afford to be sidetracked here.
71.
Well, that gets him down to 135. We saw that taken out by Rastovic yesterday.
Now here comes Cullen.
140. Joshua require 130.
In the balance once again. Maybe Joe Cullen has just seized the reins here. Upstairs and back down. And of course he has the marker. Oh, and it bounces out. It was bang on the red button.
Well, you can only assume that the
108
flights may have collided with the dart and just took out a bit of the momentum, a bit of the force.
92.
Joe Cullen can't force his way through
50.
just yet.
So Payne back in business once again, looking at double 16 to take us into another leg.
On the ninth leg, Josh Payne.
And we are into a 10th.
10 leg, it's
And
Josh.
things are just getting a little bit interesting now. Joe Cullen knows he has to raise his game again. He's gone off the boil momentarily over the last couple.
Yeah, less comfortable than it
Game on.
might have been for the Bradford man. Yorkshire's number one.
Visits there of 43, 96 and 57 back-to-back, proving his undoing during the course of that 9th leg. 3 visits without a treble. Oh, sorry, there was just the 1 treble, and the treble 1, which I'll ignore.
99.
Can't give him that.
3 sub-ton visits, we'll say then.
99.
In fact, there were 4. There was another one as well. Anyway, back to the here and now.
97.
Payne still plugging away, hoping to increase
60.
that superb record against Cullen to 3 wins out of 3.
And he's a fairly tough cookie at times, is Josh Payne. Just going back to that title he secured this year, that was a 6-5 win over Peter Wright. There were some pretty hard-fought battles along the way as well. He had a hard-fought encounter with Dudbridge in qualifying for this as well. That was 6-5.
100.
Well versed in the art of digging deep is Josh Payne.
Oh, nice adjustment there from Joe
123.
Cullen after the first start. Flew into the treble 1. Should get at least 1 match start, having missed 1 already.
58. Joe Uruguay 87.
So, well, he's left with 50, and he goes for it, and he takes it out. It's a nice way to finish off for Joe Cullen. An 87 checkout on the bull, just when Josh Payne was beginning to ask 1 or 2 questions of the number 5 seed. But for Rockstar, it's business as usual, I suppose, on the European Tour through to the final day, once again at the expense of Josh Payne.
Damit setzt sich der Favorit durch, die Nummer 16 der Welt, der Rockstar Joe Cullen, aber auch Applaus für Josh Payne, der gestern schon ein gutes Match gespielt hat und die hat nicht viel gefehlt. Joe, congratulations. Happy with your game?
Yeah, actually, that's as good as I don't know what I average, but that's as good as a 100 average. They've had the best part of like 6 weeks off, so it's just, I think everyone's saying the same every time. I've not listened, but everyone's just rusty. The win's the main thing. Doesn't matter about the average, but I'm just happy to get the win.
How was the break? How were the last couple of weeks without darts? I saw always great pictures of you on the social media, you know, at the swimming pool.
No, it was good. Obviously, the darts has been sort of a constant for the first half of the year. It's really nice to get a break, but it's just hard to get back into the swing of things when you actually get back here. But I think I'd rather get back into the swing of things on the European Tour rather than just like a normal Pro Tour. But obviously that's next week, like I said. Doesn't matter about the performance, the win's the win.
Okay, cool. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Joe.
Joe Cullen nimmt den Sieg mit.